Okay, so we're here today. First, we want to say thank you for having us, allowing us to present this proposal to you. We are here to talk about enhancements to YSU's parking services system and are they really needed? And we are KCMA Consulting. So first, I just gave a little bit for the executive summary, just a quick overview kind of our report. So first of all, our recommendations. We're recommending implementing new parking spots for graduate students, and then also a upgraded parking services system, so new meters, new payment kiosks. We believe that this will really benefit the campus and also the parking services department. It'll have a positive effect on the campus environment, and then also increase productivity and cost reduction. After the loans paid off from the initial investment. As far as our investigation, we looked at the current parking situation. We did an in-depth cost analysis, and then we also looked at financing information. So, how long it'll take us to pay it off? We're looking at about 3 to 5 years for this. So now I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Kathy, so that she can give you just a little bit of background on our report.
The question we're addressing today is if enhancements to the YSU parking services system is really needed. And we will be considering the advisability of making the following changes to the current parking services department at Youngstown State University. The two things we're looking at today is converting the current parking meter system over to an updated integrated system. And the second thing is to increase the parking locations specifically for graduate students. One evaluation will consist of the current parking structures, the advantages and disadvantages of making the changes to the current layout of the parking facilities, as well as replacing the current parking meter systems with an updated integrated system that will help have the capability to interact with the YSU banner system. Next slide. The staff at the KCMA Consulting has gathered information from this report from several key YSU departments, as well as individuals from Data Tech, Kent State University, Concept Constructions, Youngstown Savings and Loan, detailed inspections of current parking structures, email, telephone, and in-person interviews with YSU personnel, and a detailed online student survey of current parking conditions. All of these sources came together to give us a clear picture of current parking situation at Youngstown State University and provided us with factual information in which to base our recommendation regarding these services to YSU. I'm now going to pass it on to Linda, who's going to discuss the history of YSU and its parking.
Thank you very much. I just want to discuss the history of parking. In fall of 2010, as our report indicates, YSU had a total of 15,194 students. YSU is mostly a commuter facility. 1,000 students live in the YSU residence halls, and 4,000 students actually live in an adjoining apartment complex. So YSU hires about 2,100 staff, and faculty. Some are part-time, some are full-time. And as you can see, with 15,000 students, only 1,400 on campus, and 2,100 individuals that work here trying to get into campus, and finding parking situation is very difficult. According to the parking office, there are 6,755 parking spaces available on the campus. Of those 6,755 parking spaces, 140 are specifically designated for the handicapped individuals who are either coming to school, working, or visiting the campus. Parking fines, according to the office, vary from $25 to $150, dependent upon the severity of the parking violation. Students currently pay $119 a semester for parking, and the parking office is an auxiliary operation, so they are responsible for all income and expenditures and are totally self-reliant upon the income that they generate. There are definitely some political implications related to this the changes that we're proposing, but we believe that the changes that we are proposing do institute a win-win situation for faculty and staff, the students, and the campus community in general. Faculty and staff will benefit from the shuttles. Instead of parking near the building each and every day, they'll be picked up at a covered parking facility, the parking garages on campus, be transported to the door of their building where they can go directly into the building. Students will be provided with closer to the building parking spots, and they will be happier about that. When faculty leave at the end of the day or in the middle of the day, they will contact the parking office. The shuttle will be available immediately, and their cars and their methods of transportation will be free of snow. They'll be protected. Students typically are in charge of making sure who has access to the parking facilities, so their vehicles will be much safer in that environment that they currently are. We believe there'll be a reduction in cost of shuttles. The majority of staff are arriving at 8 o'clock, so we may need a few additional shuttles at that point in time, but throughout the day, it would be infrequent use of shuttles just if somebody had to leave for some reason. So there would be no holdup in getting people to and from their cars or vehicles, and we believe that everyone would benefit from these changes that we recommended to you. I'm now going to transfer the presentation over to Chelsea, and she'll give some further details about our report.
Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about, first of all, thank you, Linda. So I'm going to talk a little bit about our cost analysis. As with any enhancement, there are costs associated with implementing these new policies, procedures, new equipment throughout campus. These costs will be offset, more than offset, by our future revenue for the university. So the first cost that I'm going to talk about is our payment kiosk cost. We're estimating that these will cost about $25,000 for each new unit. We're estimating that we'll need about 10 across campus. We'll put them in high traffic areas so that they're more readily available to students, and they'll be able to walk up, pay their tickets, submit their money right then and there, so there won't have to be any going to parking services, trying to find somewhere to pay your ticket. They'll be all across campus. So that's $250,000 just for the machines. There's also the installation, which is about $75,000, and also a data line installation to run through the campus, which is about $20,000. So overall, these would cost about $345,000. Then we'd also have our automated parking meters. Currently, there are about 200 parking meters across campus. The purchase price for the new meters is about $5,000 per meter. And then we also have an installation cost of about $2,000 per meter. The current parking meters that we have now will need to be removed based on a quote from Conception Constructions. That's looking like it would cost about $1,000 a piece. And then we also anticipate selling the old parking meters. Kent State University actually offered to purchase all 200 for $100,000. The sale of these meters will definitely help to offset at least a partial cost on this upgrade. So we also have a company that's going to work with us with implementing the programming for us to be able to work through the Blackboard system, and so the students can pay through their accounts online. And that's Data Tech is the company. They quoted us an initial price of about $30,000 for management of the database, on-campus training for employees, and then any other miscellaneous things that we would need in our first few months in the startup. So for the automated parking meters, we're looking at about $1.5 million in total for the total cost of those, and that's including our $100,000 of income from the sale of the old meters. So another portion of our recommendation for the new and improved parking services is adding on parking spaces for graduate students. So this would give them easier access to parking. We're recommending that we put in 20 new graduate student parking spots. The cost of new signage and paint for each parking space is about $100. So that puts us for the graduate parking lot, for the parking conversion, and then for the kiosk machines and the parking meters, we're looking at a total cost for the project of about $2 million. So we will also have financing on our project. So we need to apply for a loan for the $2 million. We're looking at paying this off in the next 3 or 5 years. And then this can be secured with an interest rate of about 7.6%. So that's pretty much it as far as the cost analysis goes. Then we also, anytime you're implementing a new project, you have to look at the negative implications of this project. The number one, I think that would most affect the university is going to be the loss of jobs. Currently, we're employing about 200 people in the parking services department. After this upgrade, we'd only need about 40 employees. It wouldn't be immediate dismissal because it is going to take some time to implement this new system and get it working and get everyone trained. And also, we are hopeful that there will be openings in other portions of the campus that these employees can go to. As I touched on just previously, we also have the loan financing. So we're looking at paying this off in the next 3 to 5 years on a $2 million loan with a 7.6% interest rate. Another negative implication, unfortunately, is the length of the implementation. So we're looking at updating one area at a time. The impact will be minimal. We're thinking of starting this in the summer months when there's less traffic on campus. And then there'll also be a learning curve for the people who work on campus because it's going to be a new system that they haven't used before. They won't be familiar with it. But as I mentioned before, Data Tech will actually be handling all of the training for the new employees for those. So now I'm going to turn it over to James, and he's going to talk to you a little bit about our projections and our recommendations.
All right, thank you, Chelsea. So real quickly, we'll get into our projections for each of the topics that we covered, the automated parking meters and the increased parking for graduate students. So both of these kind of mini projects offer two different things. They offer convenience and use of technology, which are both growing fast and are both in demand for consumers, and our consumers or your consumers would be students and grad students for the future. So as I guess as the workforce and the student group continue to get younger and want this technology and this convenience, these are two things that really offer it for them. So the first one, automated parking meters, obviously technologically friendly. Kids will be able to use them and students will be able to use them on their apps and their smartphones and from the computers. The ease of use. This isn't just for the users, but also for the administrators. So you're going to see some administrative fees be cut down because the paperwork and things like that will not be as taxing. And with that also comes time savings as well for your administrators. And then also the campus security will be saving your time, and you'll be able to redeploy them to do things that are more, I guess, cost efficient and more efficient as well. So with the cost savings and the organizational efficiency, you'll get all that with the automated parking meters. So we really think that's a win. And then is the increased parking for graduate students. You know, the attendance and demand is continuing to rise, not just at YSU, but in all other campuses as well. So we really need to do something that will keep us competitive with the rest of the universities in the area. Now, will parking services or increased spaces something that reels in extra candidates? Maybe not, but it could be a convenience for them as to why they will stay. And through word of mouth, those are some of the things students look for when getting to so after the initial upkeep in both of them, there will be minimal upkeep, so not something we need to continue to dump money into throughout the future. Then you'll also increase parking revenue, and again, the attracting and retaining future graduate students. Moving on and concluding with our recommendations, know that there are high initial costs associated with this project, but we believe both initiatives that we described in our proposal will be strongly considered, or should be strongly considered, as soon as possible. We talked about the financing, how we can have it paid off in 2 years, and we talked about the upside with revenues and also with commitment from future students. be long-term cost reductions as well as increased productivity. And again, we need to answer the demand for distributed and the use of convenience and technology throughout their workforce. So we appreciate the time that you've given us, and we really enjoyed preparing this proposal for you. And you can reach us at any time if you have any questions or any other